In the shop again doing maintenance work. I'm going to go ahead and do the hydro service on this 3200 and I'm also do an oil change at the same time. So what I did is I jacked it up. I got it blocked up about 3 inches in the front and I got it leveled out on jack stands in the back. That way I can get under there real easy. So here's what we're going to be using. 2 gallons of 20W50 regular conventional oil for the hydros, and then 5 quarts of the Ames oil 15W50. So we got the oil filter for the oil guard and then the oil filters for the hydro system. Let's get started. Alright, first thing on the oil change, we'll go ahead and clip this little tie wrap on the top and crack the top open. Like so. And then the oil filter, you just want to turn it. Man, it's kind of, sometimes you got to use some pliers to turn it to where it lines up on these little things right here. Try not to make a mess when you do that, but you got to break it loose from the suction. And right here, you're just going to turn that little dial. Let me get some light on that. There you go. You're just going to turn that little doohickey. And at the bottom down here is where the oil comes out. Let's see if I can get some light on here. See that thing right there? It's just a little dust cover. I'll take this dust cover off. Now normally I'll blow all of this stuff out real good before I start changing oil. I'm gonna just be real careful this time and not get any inside the system. Once I change it, I'll go ahead and give it a good cleaning with the air nozzle. Alright, once you get your little brass cover off the bottom, put your drain pan underneath. Come here and turn this valve. You may have to use a little set of pliers. It might be a little tight, but go ahead and unscrew all of that all the way. As you can see, it's draining down here. We'll wait for that to drain out. I'll go ahead and pull the old filter out and then we'll go to the next step. Alright, go ahead and pull the oil filter out while that's draining. Set that aside. So this is what the filter comes in, a box like this. This is the number. I'll go ahead and get that open. And it comes with the tie wrap to tie wrap the cover on the top after you're done. Alright, so we're all done draining the oil out. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that valve up right here. I'm going to give it a little nudge with the pliers just to make sure it's tight enough. And then I'm going to put the brass fitting back at the bottom and give it a little nudge with the pliers, make sure it's tight down there. I'm going to pour all 5 quarts into the reservoir. No funnel needed on this one. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I let the engine warm up a little bit to change the oil for the engine. 5 or 10 minutes before I drained it. And this is 15W50 Ames oil. I think I got it for like $8-9 a quart, I believe, this time. Price is always changing, so. Full synthetic, real good oil. Been using it for a while now. And this is what they recommend in the manual, a full synthetic 15W50. If you can't find 15W50, I have ran 20W50 in it before, and I haven't had any issues with it, so whatever you can find. Alright, one more quart. Next step, put the filter in. Turn it to lock it in. Put your cap back on. You want to, it's a quarter turn, you just line it up and turn it, and you tie wrap it when you're done right here, but I'm not going to put the tie wrap until I check it after I ran it for a while and see where the level is, just to make sure. Already wiped the dipstick earlier. You can see that's the full mark right here. Alright, now that we're finished with the engine oil, let's move on to the hydro oil. So I already blew off the reservoirs here. Make sure you don't get anything inside of there. And wiped them clean. Underneath here, I've got a 1 1/8 inch socket on a swivel. I'm gonna take the cap off of the wheel motor here. It's an aluminum cap, and it should come off pretty easy. Let's do that next. So apparently I have my jack stand a little too far in to where my oil wouldn't drain directly down. So I made a little bit of a mess, as usual. I'll clean it up. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is pull the oil filter out now that I got the cap out. That's just a little hook tool I'm using to pull it out. pretty tight fit under there. Put this on over here. Alright, so here's the part number to the oil filter for the hydros. This is what you get. You get the paper filter. This part faces the inside, and this part faces the outside. This O-ring goes on the cap that you pulled off, the aluminum cap. You want to pull the O-ring off and put this one on. But for now, I'm just going to stick the new filter, now that it's done draining, back into its home. Into its new home. It's a little tricky to get in there. I usually go in from the top. Don't force it, and you'll feel it go all the way in, and it'll seat about a ½ inch into there. So like I said, I'm going to put the new O-ring on the cap and hand tighten the cap back on. I'm not going to use an impact or anything, just use a wrench. And I'm going to dispose of my oil right here, and I'll move on to the other side. Alright, so I'm all done under here. Went ahead, drained all the oil out. I put my new filters in, put my new O-rings on my caps, tightened my caps by hand with a wrench on each side, and I also made a lot of mess. And simply because I didn't have my jacks placed wide enough. So keep that in mind when you support the mower up, that you need enough room for your drain pan to be all the way under where it comes out. But no biggie, I'm gonna clean that up when I'm done. Also, all this oil and stuff that's dripped everywhere, I'm gonna back it out when I'm done and spray degreaser all under it, and probably pressure wash it or rinse it off real good and clean all that up when I'm done. Alright, next thing we're going to do is pull a 7/16 bolt out of the top of the wheel motor right here. I got it on a 1/4 inch drive ratchet and extension with a swivel. Let's see if I can break it loose. God, I must have ate my Wheaties when I tightened that last time. I'm going to go ahead and break the other side while I'm here. Just break it loose. Fine thread. It's got a little O-ring on it. Make sure it's in good shape. And I'm going to take this side off. Alright. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start putting more oil in the reservoirs. I have two 5-quart jugs here. I'm going to pour one jug into that reservoir and one jug into that reservoir. Now, you're not going to be able to pour it all at once. You're going to be able to pour a little bit at a time, and it's going to slowly drain into the wheel motors. So we're going to start with the back one. And keep in mind how fast it's filling up in the reservoir. You don't want to overfill it. Alright, now that that one's full, I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to open my other jug and pour in this one. Alright, I'll put that right there. gonna go back to using this jug into this reservoir. I'm gonna let it go down a little bit first. Put it in this one. Had me a little bit of spillage right there. You don't want to do that. If you do, you want to clean it up real good when you're done, because it will make a mess. Alright, we're going to wait about 5 minutes and let this go down some. And I'm going to use this one for the back one and this one for the front one until all of it goes in. Alright, so I put both jugs in each wheel motor, all 5 quarts. This reservoir is about halfway down. This one's about 3/4 full. So the one that's halfway down, you want to get underneath and trace the hose, which this hose goes to the front reservoir, this hose goes to the back reservoir. So the lower one, this one is almost at the cold full mark down here. So this is the one that's going to start coming out first. You can see it right here. So you want to come and put your bolt back in. Take your time, don't drop it. It's okay if you spill a little bit of oil, but it's in a tight little spot, so alright, I got it started. So for now, I'm just going to get it started. I'll tighten it up in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to put that bolt in on that side. Pull this funnel out. Don't get in a rush when you're trying to put it in. And drop the bolt. Should be any second now. So the reason you want to pull these out, these are vent holes, and what it's going to do is it's going to allow that oil to get into the wheel motor much faster. If you don't pull these out,
it could take hours to pour that in there and slowly get, make its way into there. This is also going to allow that air to rise to the top of the wheel motor as you put the oil in there. You'll have trapped air in there, so the air will be able to get all the way out. That oil will push it all the way out. Whole lot less chance of getting trapped air in the system. Okay, I can kind of see the reflection of the oil right now, so it's getting close. If you keep an eye on it with the light, there's the oil, it's coming out. I'm trying to get this in without dropping it. Good deal. Alright, those are started. I'm going to get my ratchet and tighten that up real quick. You don't need to over tighten those. It has a rubber O-ring, so fine thread. Alright, and I'm not really worried about that spilled oil because in a little while I'm going to give this thing a bath. Once I have everything sealed up and everything's good to go, I'm going to spray it with degreaser and pressure wash it. So I don't know if you can tell from the angle you're looking at, but the tank is a little less than half on this one, and this one is at the cold full mark where it should be, almost all the way down. So I have a little tool. I'm going to take some of this oil out just to get it level with the same as that one. Put that in my container. Alright, so both of them are at the cold full mark. I'm going to wipe away any of this for now. I'm going to put my caps back on. Alright, so I got 5 quarts of oil in each of the wheel motors, new oil filters. I'm at the cold fill mark. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the ground and drive it around, see if it's doing right. And normally what I'll do when I do a hydro service on this, I'll purge the system at the end, and basically you disengage the wheel motors, which is just a little flathead screwdriver on each side. You just use a flathead screwdriver to turn it a quarter of a turn on each one. It's kind of hard to show you on camera, but it's down there, one on each side. I've got other videos showing how that works. And basically you just start it up, disengage the wheel motors, work the controls 5 or 6 times to help purge any of the trapped air that might be in the system, and that way everything operates good. I think this time I'm not going to do that. I just want to experiment and try and just roll with it like this and see if I can skip that step, because I've seen other people do that and they don't have any issues. So if you want to go by the book, you can do it like I did on my other videos, purging the system. So I think what I'm going to do now is just put it on the ground and try it out, and if it works fine, I'm going to clean everything up and call that a day. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe.